Okay, so today's topic is again, under the TQM. Basically, we will cover the roof, business growth. Under business growth, we will cover today cost of quality, cost of poor quality, and impact on productivity and profitability. So those are the main three items we are going to cover today. So at the end of the sessions today, you will learn. Probably you need to write it down because I have kept this blank in your notes. You will understand the direct impact of quality and cost of quality on business growth. Right? If you have the handouts with you, please write it down. And the second deliverables of the today's session is understand the importance of having balance of appraisal cost and failure cost. You will learn those appraisal cost and failure cost today. And the third one is number 3, you will be able to assess current hidden cost and its impact on productivity and profit of the organization. Those are the 3 deliverables of today's session. So when it comes to the business growth,
So can you go for the previous slide and keep it 1 minute, please?
Yeah. No worries. We'll keep it.
Thank you.
Wait, 1 minute. Thank you, sir.
Okay, no worries. Sorry. So when it comes to internal factors and external factors with regard to business growth, right? Obviously, let's go through the external factors first. Obviously, depending on your product and service, there should be market demand. And of course, with the competition, depending on the competition and the economic conditions of the market and the technological advancements and regulatory requirement environment. With regard to the internal factors, we are talking about the leadership and mission, innovation, financial management, and workforce skills and operational efficiency. So you don't want to worry about all these areas. These are, you understand. But what I want to say here, the quality can impact on obviously the competition. Your competition mainly depend on your quality. If the quality is not there, you're out of the competition. Number one. Then the internal, when it comes to internal factors, the financial management and the operation efficiency, quality can impact in big way, right? So, sorry for that. So, I was not well last couple of days, just recovering. So, with regard to the business, this is the two sides of the coin actually. Effectiveness and efficiency. You need to, if you are to succeed in a business, you need to manage two things. One thing is the effectiveness. The second thing is the efficiency. So, what do you think about the effectiveness? What do you know about effectiveness? What's the difference between effectiveness and efficiency? Can someone say that? Explain the difference. What do you mean by effectiveness and what do you mean by efficiency? Is there any difference or is the same thing?
It's a two thing. concept.
Okay. Okay.
Effectiveness can we say that doing the right things. So
Okay.
efficiency is doing things the right way.
Excellent. Excellent answer. Sorry, I couldn't recognize you.
I'm Tilina.
Thanks, Tina. Thank you. Excellent answer. So you're right. Hold on. Can you see the presentation? Is or not?
Yeah, we can.
Something wrong today. Hold on. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're exactly right. Doing the right thing, focusing the customer. So what we discussed last week, actually, how to identify the right thing for the customer through Kano model. We wanted to identify what are the things we should do differently to satisfy or delight the customer. So that's why we call it effectiveness. Identifying the things which customer will satisfy, we call it effectiveness. Can we do at any cost? No, we can't do that. So we want to have the balance, right? Sorry. Right? We want to have the balance. So efficiency is about achieving results with the minimum resources, time or effort, right? That's how we can improve the profits, right? You can't increase the cost. If you increase the cost, if you increase the price, then you will lose the customer. You have to give it at the lowest price as much as possible, and while delighting the customer for you to win the customer. Same time, you need to manage your cost and resources and the time for you to be in the market and you to make money out of the business. We all are doing the business to make money out of it, right? Today we will discuss about this. Last week we discussed about the effectiveness, how to identify the right things. Today we are going to discuss about the how to support to reduce your cost, identify your cost, how to optimize your resources by understanding the quality cost particularly, right? So when it comes to the quality cost, we have 4 elements, right? Prevention cost. Any investments to prevent defects, we can consider as a prevention cost. And expenses for measuring and monitoring quality, we will go in detail under appraisal cost. Then the failure cost divided into internal and external. Internal failures may be rework and rejection. External failures may be customer complaint, discount, and etc. So other way of categorizing the costs, you can consider cost of non-conformance and cost of conformance. It's a different way of looking at the cost, right? Under cost of conformance, you can divide prevention cost and appraisal cost. Under cost of non-conformance, you can divide into internal failure cost and external failure cost. Again, under internal failure cost, you can say intangible cost and tangible cost. Even the external failure cost, you can say intangible cost and tangible cost, right? This is very important for us to understand the components of cost of quality. So when it comes to prevention cost, quality training, if someone, if company is sponsoring for this TQM program, so you can consider as a prevention cost. Yes, it's an investment to educate somebody, this is an investment to reduce your defects, right? Process improvement, maybe if you are doing some improvements in automation, minimize the variations, right? If you are changing the layouts to reduce, maybe to improve the material flow and reduce the rework. Quality planning, maybe if you are changing your strategic suppliers, maybe you are changing, say your supply is a distance supply, you want to bring him to closer to the manufacturing environment. So those kind of changes in your quality planning, right? Maybe your storing changes, your temperature changes to improve your quality. So those are prevention costs, right? Equipment maintain, maybe preventive maintenance particularly. So those costs are under prevention costs, right? So can you give some any missing elements, anything we need to add into prevention cost? If you can think of anything to be added. Are you in a same understanding, or you want to add more, service industry is particularly, what are the things you can think of, so these are particularly on, you can think of manufacturing, but in service industry, in your supplying gas cylinders, so what are the things you can think of prevention cost?
Safety improvements.
Safety improvement,
safe.
Okay, if there is any risk of safety, I'm in the sense, what are things you can do to minimize the risk? What kind of things, as example, just think of anything you can do to avoid any defects. Think of on that line. What are the defects can happen in gas cylinder? Maybe blast.
Yeah, it can be a blast, or if there's no proper maintenance on the cylinders, it can be blast or a leakage of gases.
Okay.
And,
to improve that, what are the
okay,
things you can do?
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So and in the gas industry internationally, there are recognized color coding for the gases. So to prevent the cost, definitely we will have to maintain those color codings, because if the user use different gases without considering the color code, if the color code faded, if the user use the like wrong gases for their operation, that can cause us a lot of cost. So it's like maintaining color codes, and those things are also important in the gas industry.
Are you doing any training? Maybe people training how to use gas cylinders in a correct
Yes,
way.
please, we do. Like we do safety training, like how the safe handling, how the safest way to handle the gas and its equipments. We do those type of trainings also.
So those
for the
comes under
customers.
prevention cost. Yeah, those also comes under prevention cost, because you are avoiding the defect. Because when the defect comes, so it doesn't matter, customers use incorrect way, the bad name comes to your company. So that's why you can consider as a prevention cost. Okay, thank you. When it comes to application, sorry.
Quality planning, prevention cost.
Yes. Any example on the quality planning, what are things we can do to prevent defects?
Quality planning mitigate the risks used in the FMEA and develop the control standard level maintained to the SOP.
Very good, Prasanna. I think you use the word FMEA. So that piece comes, identifying the risk factors. Based on the risk factors, you can, come up with some different way of managing that, and you can inbuild those parameters to the quality process before something happens. So those investments comes as a prevention cost. So any activity, any cost involved in to prevent a defect, you can consider as a prevention cost, right? Then sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So how about now, let's say we want to hire the right talent. So
Okay.
recruit the right talent. So can it be as a prevention cost? Taken as a prevention cost?
Yeah, in the sense, so if you are hiring, say, for example, you have a hire a average person. You see, if you have an average person, you can have a defects. You are expecting, or there's a potential risk if this particular person manage this particular process. There's a potential risk. If you identify as a potential risk, if you want to upgrade, and say you have not budgeted that cost, under that particular department, you have not budgeted. You want to give an extra training, or you want to, replace with a different, highly skilled person. That different cost, that delta, you can consider as prevention cost, because anyway you need a person, but because of this risk factor, you upgrade that profile, correct? And you have to pay extra. That extra amount you can consider as a prevention cost, because otherwise you would have counter another defects. To avoid that, you have identified a risk, and you are hiring, or you are upgrading. Maybe you are giving him a different training or something like that. You can consider as a prevention cost.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the appraisal cost. So you are mainly the entire quality department card, your inspection and testing charges, equipment calibration costs. Maybe you are doing a supply rating, supply evaluation, and there is a cost involved for that. So those comes under appraisal cost, right? Any clarification on this? I think this is very straightforward. Everything we do under quality control and quality assurance, under quality department, basically all comes under appraisal cost.
So how about the certifications, the external certifications? Can it come under appraisal cost?
In the sense, somebody is coming and assessing your process.
Yeah. For example, let's say we are taking a SLS standards for our process. So getting the SLS standard.
Yes, it's a appraisal cost, because any calibration also is a kind of equipment or process calibration. You are calibrating with using external party. You can consider as appraisal cost. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So then, internal failure cost. So under internal failure cost, we have two parts. One is tangible, otherwise is the intangible. I think tangible one is very straightforward. Your reject or scraps, rework, time, rework. There's a cost involved for that, and rechecking process, and downtime due to quality failures, production loss hours. All these are internal failure costs, right? Then move to this is the interesting part actually. Nobody worry about this. In lean, we call it hidden factory. Another factory is hidden inside the factory. So basically, visible ones are the ones we are saying, the tangible ones. You can see the iceberg inside the water. Under the water, there are many hidden costs, right? Many hidden costs. Example, in-process rework. In-process rework in the sense, I will give some examples using my previous experience. In manufacturing, apparel manufacturing, we know that, we have a module or a line. At the end of the line, you get the final product. At the final product, you will, once complete the assembling part, you do 100% checking. Before you do the 100% checking, actually, some organizations, I think some garment factories, they do an inline checking also. Some, they don't have the inline process. Whether you have inline or whether you don't have inline, there are many rework without recording. There are many reworks is happening inside the module with operator or a team member, they do reworks. At the end of the line, they are supposed to check 100%, and they are supposed to mark 100% defects. What we have realized, we did an exercise a couple of years back. At the end line, how much they are checking? We want to check whether they are marking 100%. Any experience? Have we done any of you have done this? This kind of experiment. If you have done, please share with me now. Our finding was, if the inline rework is 5%, almost another 5%, they are not marking. That means only 50% of the defect they are marking, right? That was the outcome of that experiment. And the interesting part was, if the inline mark percentage is 5%, the inline process, unrecorded percentage, is 5 times bigger than the recorded inline rework, which means if the inline rework is 5%, actual inline reports are supposed to be 10%. The inline rework was 25%. You can understand the magnitude of the problem, right? This is the facts, we did, a couple of months experiment, and this is the finding of that. So have you done any similar experience, and, you have found different results, or you are agreeing with me that, this can be or this cannot be?
Yeah, it's similar. We are facing
similar. You also have experienced the same thing, no?
Yes, similar is same issue.
Same, no? Same.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. So basically, unrecorded downtime also same, right? Even though we are supposed to record everything, maybe only certain percentage we are marked. Rest of the thing we don't mark due to quality issues, particularly. And the productivity loss due to morale and impact. So if I explain, I think I don't want to explain this in detail, because you know that when you have the defect in the module, it is not just the downtime, it damages the morale of the people, because the team module or a team, they are going for the incentives. When they get to know that they can't hit the targets today, that morale will go down and they will not perform again. And when they don't perform on that particular day or second day or third day, after consecutive 2 or 3 days, they will give up. And it is very difficult to get the rhythm back. So because of that, the rework or quality failures are directly impact on the productivity. It is not easy to get the rhythm back. So I think in our industry, when it comes to service industry, very interesting to know, sorry for that, I can't give an example here. Can you just share the, I'm picking only Isuru. Who are the people who are coming from service background or, at the moment working in the service industry, apart from Isuru? Anyone else in service industry? Nobody? Isuru, how do you measure this? How do you feel that, if we are saying this, how do you think of in your industry,
Sorry, I didn't hear the previous explanation.
This one?
No, not this one. What they were saying before, I didn't hear it clearly.
Oh, no. What we want to say is, These are unrecorded failures, internal failures. When it comes to internal failures, before customer notice the defect, before we pass the defects to the customer, anything we do to, any losses due to that particular defect is internal failures, right? So internal failures can be divided into two. One thing is the tangible one, other one is the intangible one, right? What I'm asking is, with regard to the service industry, any example we can think of in-process rework or unrecorded rework, any unrecorded things happening in service industry? Or even though it's a service industry, you are also part of manufacturing, no?
Yes, please. So especially like service industry, I think the deliveries, as I mentioned earlier, that deliveries, because of the traffics and the road conditions and those things, the delivery can get the delivery time can get longer than as it's expected, which is
so it's a defect in customer point of view, it's a defect, right?
Yes.
But to rectify that, maybe if you are, say your maybe your truck is stuck somewhere, right? Because to avoid that thing, maybe you are using a different vehicle to transport and give it on time. Customer will not get the defect, right? But you are adding extra cost, right?
Yeah, of course. So it's like we are doing those ones. So
those comes under internal intangible cost. Maybe those are not recorded, right? But you are doing something extra, bypassing your normal route, doing something extra to satisfy the customer, not to pass the defects, but you are incurring additional cost, but unrecorded also. It can be recorded, it can be unrecorded. If it is unrecorded, it's a tangible cost. If you are not recorded, it's an intangible cost.
Intangible.
Right? You are clear. So
yes.
So this is the point here is, so you can see iceberg, majority of the costs related to internal failures costs are hidden, right? That's why we call it the hidden factory. Majority of the costs related to internal failures are hidden, right? It is very difficult to track. That's why we call it hidden, right? So external failure costs also almost same, right? External failure cost tangible, you can say, think of, sometimes you have to give the discounts, maybe customer claim sales loss, we have to play, maybe customer is complaining about the defects, so then you have to go send somebody for rechecking and do the correction there. So those kind of failures maybe under external failure tangible cost. I think no argument this is very straightforward. Then the intangible cost, external failure, intangible cost. So if you have a failure, not a minor thing, the major failure, you will diminish the brand reputation. Sometimes you will lose the future sales opportunities. Sometimes customer defection also, permanently you will lose the customer, right? These things can happen. Can you give a dollar value to this? Because we don't know. Because we don't know, we are not tracking this. Because of that, we don't understand most of the time in the industry, in our leadership or organization, they don't understand the impact of quality, right? So it is very important to understand the balance for you to avoid all the failures. You can keep on increase on what? You can increase prevention cost as well as appraisal cost, right? You can put as many as gates not to pass defects to customer, right? Maybe even the inline process, right? even within the organization also, inside the organization, we can put a lot of checkers and quality gates and tests and minimize the internal failure and external failures. Then what will happen? You can see the graph here. This line is the one combination of your prevention and appraisal cost. Your cost will go up. Then your failure cost, proportionately, your failure cost will go down, right? But what will happen with the total cost? When it comes to total cost, is the sum of both, right? Internal is a sum of failure cost plus the appraisal and prevention cost. So total cost going like this, right? So this line says you have to understand the midpoint, right? You can't keep on adding prevention and appraisal cost for you to reduce your internal and prevention cost. There should be a balance. So this is the message of this slide. Okay, so if you are to measure this as a KPI, the recommendation says you have to measure as a percentage of sales, right? You can add all the internal, external, internal, and appraisal and prevention costs together. You can divide by your sales value annually into 100. So you will get as a percentage of your total cost. You can use as a KPI for the quality. The stat says very interesting stats.
Yeah, Mr. Viman.
Yes.
Can you go back to
yes? No.
Previous slide? Can you just again brief that cost of quality?
Yeah. E mean external failure cost. I mean internal failure cost. A mean appraisal cost. P mean prevention cost, right? So you can add all these 4 components together, right?
Okay.
And you divide by your sales value of the organization, right?
Sales
value. Then you will get as a percentage of out of this much of percentage is due to quality failure from sales. Right?
Okay.
So otherwise, depending on the size of the organization, you can't compare against your rest of the organization. Maybe you can't compare against the other industries. That's why we are recommending to check against the sales value. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, please.
So you said that the internal failure cost hidden or there are a lot of them, but how to measure them then?
How to
measure them? Like
measure them.
To measure a call, measure them.
Measure, yeah. So we are going to go through one example. Probably we can understand better when we go through that example. Let me explain that during that. Yeah. I will give
sure.
Yeah, I will give one example. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Sir. Thank you. So the stat says if you are a world-class organization, maybe you have implemented Six Sigma, lean manufacturing at highest level, your cost of quality against your sales value maybe less than 5% if you are a world-class organization. But typical companies around the world, so based on those numbers, they have given these numbers, 10 to 20% of your sales value out of your sales, basically cost of quality is 10 to 20% of your sales, right? If you are low maturity organization, 20 to 40%, it can be big as 20 to 40%. Very difficult to believe this. Absolutely, it's very, very hard to believe this much of number. I checked how the apparel in you also can just Google and see The apparel numbers on average, it says 14%. 14% of your sales are due to cost of quality. The only thing is we are not measuring correctly, and it is very difficult to measure, but I will give some example to at least, estimate what's your cost of quality, just to estimate, right? Okay. So when you have a cost of quality, cost of poor quality, it will impact your financial, obviously, the rework, scraps, returns, claims, discounts. So it will impact your financial losses. Obviously, customer dissatisfaction and operational inefficiencies. Sometimes legal and compliance risk as well, right? So we'll not get the break now. Hold on. Yeah, so these are some of the examples, right? Some of the examples of quality failures in history. Ford Finto, they got a failure. So we will not go through one by one, but I have given 6 examples actually. You can go through that. Failure was, the faulty fuel tank design.
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry.
We are not able to see the screen.
Thanks for the feedback. Hold on, what's happened? So you see it again. Can you see now?
Yes, sir. Now it's fine.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback or something. Okay, so these are some of the examples in history. There were some failures, the huge failures. You can see the failure, Ford Pinto in 1970, fuel tank design failure, right? The impact was, hundreds of deaths, injuries. The root cause was cost saving decision. They have taken a cost saving decision. And the lesson was very interesting. Ignoring safety for cost saving, right? Likewise, Boeing, this I think this is very famous one. So the failure was software malfunctioning, 2 crashes, 346 deaths, right? Loss was more than 20 billion. Root causes poor software quality, lack of pilot training. The lesson learned, software quality and training are just as critical as mechanical safety. Those are the things sometimes we forget, right? The Toyota, I think, very famous one, 2009 to 2011, we had a huge recalls. Cars experience unintended acceleration. I think most of people experience that, and around the globe, they had to recall. Multiple deaths also. Impact was 1.2 billion fine. Design failure again, right? So I will go to the example now. You can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. This is, these numbers are, don't think those numbers too much. These are some dummy numbers I have put, right? If you can develop similar seat, right, for your internal purpose at least, not to, maybe finance and, quality department, you all can get together, develop similar one so that you can understand the magnitude of your quality, cost of quality in your business. So this is just an example, right? Try to understand the elements so that you can work with your finance team and see how you can develop similar one, right? So prevention cost, investment to error proofing solutions, maybe.
Content is not visible.
Skin not
Which
visible.
one is not visible?
Yeah.
Which one is not visible?
We are able to only
Yeah, anything cannot see.
It's okay now?
Yeah,
now we
okay.
are the Excel. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is just example. Don't think about the numbers. Just understand the concept. So you can say prevention cost. You can put actual cost here and your budgeted cost. Why I have put budgeted cost? Because some elements you can budget, some you can't budget it. So investment on error proofing solutions. If you can allocate some money for your error proofing, you can budget it, right? Then the depreciation of error proof machines. Sometimes you have developed last year, there can be depreciations, those machines. Training on product safety and quality. Loss of production due to training on product safety and quality. Then quality week and Kaizen events on. So sometimes some organization I have seen, they have planned quality week, mega quality event, quality week, maybe Kaizen events on quality. So those you can consider as a prevention cost, right? So this is the budgeted number. These are the actual numbers. You can just track against that. The good thing about this piece is, everything can be tracked. Those are tangible ones. Then the appraisal cost. That also, I think most of the organizations we are, monitoring this, particularly finance department tracking on this. The card cost, raw material and inspection team cost of quality card plus the incentive, cost of equipment calibration, maybe as somebody said about the external audits. So all these elements we can track, and these are under appraisal cost, right? Budgeted and actual. So far you are clear? Okay. So then the internal failure cost. So it has two parts, tangible and intangible. Then you can see, okay, let's understand this. Scraps, yes, most of the organizations, they have some tolerance for scraps, maybe 0.5%, maybe 0.2%. So there's a cost involved, and you can budget and you can incorporate the this one. You can track it. Then the rework. I don't think anyone is budgeted underlying item. Also, is there is no direct measurement on that. What we are proposing is you can come up with a formula. Particularly in manufacturing, I can give example. You can get an average. These are not very accurate report, but for you to understand the impact, the rework. On average, how many minutes for you to repair your whatever the product you have. If it is on average say 3 minutes, then you can multiply by your cost per minute. Through that you can find out what's the impact on the rework into number of pieces. You can calculate that, right? Then the additional material to rework or repair, so that also you can track it. Then if you are doing some additional transport, meals, etc., you can track it, right? So when it comes to intangible internal failure. This is very interesting one. I think this is what you asked. Loss of production due to rework. How do you calculate that? Maybe someone can say due to downtime. Yes, downtime is one of the elements. But how do you measure the impact on the rhythm? Right? If you can figure it out, the internal rework, unrecorded one. True sample size. As I said, if you have done a sample, if you know your recorded rework is this much, you can multiply by your sample findings and you can use as a guideline. Through that, you can come up with the estimated number. If my recorded number is this, my unrecorded number would be this number. So with that, my internal failure, intangible cost should be this number, right? You can see the budgeted number. Nobody is budgeting it, right? It's blank. But you can come up with formulas depending on your sample size experiment. You can come up with formulas to quantify your internal failure, right? To quantify your internal failure, as we explained in our previous example, like, inline, I said, inline recorded one was 5%, unrecorded one was another 5%, almost double. Then I said inline rework, not the inline recorded one is 5%. If the inline recorded one is 5%, we knew inline is 25%, is 5 times based on our experiment. Likewise, if you can come up with some sort of a formula, at least to estimate, this is just the estimation, right? If you can come up with number, you can put it here. Then the external failure cost. Those discounts to customer complaints, you can put it here. I don't think nobody is budgeting external failure cost, right? It's zero budget, but if it comes, you have to just mention it. Then the intangible ones, right? When it comes to intangible ones, if you get a customer complaint, if you get a discount, you should understand how to convert into impact on your customer base. How many customers you will lose? What is the future loss of business when you have a customer complaint? Based on your past experience, what's the experience? Kind of estimation. If you can put that number to here, what we are proposing here is, right, then the total number will come. You will understand the difference between the budgeted number here. I'm just giving the number as example, and you can see, say you have budgeted, say $700,000, but to actual failure cost is 10 million, right? So assuming your sales value is 120 million, your budgeted your quality cost as a percentage would be 21%, right? If your sales value is, say, this is how it's going to, how we are going to measure it. You can see the formula. If the total cost is this one, this is the total cost, right? This is your total quality cost divided by your sales value, right? And as a percentage, you can take it. Yeah, it's 9%. Sorry, it's 9%. Right? It's 9%. As per this example, out of your sales 120, if the sales value is 120, if your total cost is your estimation cost is 10 million, your cost against the sales value is 9%. So that's how this number, this 9% number, is the one we explained that, on average, 14% in apparel, 10 to 20% in globally. So this number they are saying, if you calculate correctly, it should be more than almost 20% across the global. So this is what I want to explain. There's no hard and fast rule on this, but this is what we're trying to explain here is the impact on business due to cost of quality. Cost of quality is not just appraisal cost and prevention cost, is the failure cost as well, right? So anything else are you clear on this? Any clarification on this yet before we take a break?
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to ask?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Please.
If there is a cost intangible, then that means actually we are taking this cost as a estimated cost, no? As an example, for external failures, the loss of future sales, quality issues, then we are taking this as estimated cost for the calculation, no? Am I correct?
No, yeah. What we're trying to say is, if you can't track it, if there's no way to, as example, intangible cost, you can't track it, hidden cost, you can't track it. Based on your sample and based on your previous example, if you can estimate value, right? Come up with a formula. If you get a customer complaint now, what's the impact going to be in your sales, right? So likewise, if you can do that, it will have you can estimate the total cost.
Okay.
Are you clear on that? If I'm not clear.
That means based on historical data, we have to have some estimated cost. That is
estimation cost, related to related to the tangible one. As example, say internal cost, right? If you know your recorded values are, you have to come up with a formula. Your external when the internal recorded tangible recorded ones are going up, there should be a formula to quantify your internal failure cost with the maybe through the experiment. You have to come up with a formula. That's what we are proposing. Likewise, for the external failures also, if you know that when you have a quality failure or this, you have to level it out. If it's a minor one, I don't think that there is an impact. If it's a major one, you can come up with, okay, if you get a major one, how many customers you have potential? Shall we start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll start. So far, I think one question from Isuru, good question actually. Is there any industry we can? His question was: is there any recommended industry practice for intangible cost estimate? So these are case by case. Isuru and the team basically suppose you obviously typically finance teams did not allow you to invest on some of the error-proof solutions. In my experience also, sometimes it is very difficult to convince because they will ask for what's the return on investment. Obviously, this is not nothing against finance team or anyone, but natural reaction is when you want to invest something on your prevention. Defect prevention solution like automation solutions to minimize the impact to the customer, reduce the risk of failure. So it is very difficult to, because it is not happen. It will not happen. In the we can't prove that it will happen, but we know that there is a huge risk. So to convince somebody to your leadership to invest on some prevention costs, you can show the impact based on your previous examples with your formulas, your findings. You can justify as examples. Say in my previous example, if the inline rework is say 25%, but recorded one is 5%. You want to invest on a machine to reduce the rework. When you are trying to justify, they will say, oh, just 5%, maybe why you want to invest on this much, what's the impact to the business? At that point, you will, you don't have answer, how to quantify, what's the return on investment? It is very difficult to quantify. For those cases, I think if you can use this kind of analysis to show the impact to the business. It makes sense?
Yes, please. Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah, I think so. Those kind of things, because otherwise, if something happen, maybe you will invest more, but that time you will lose the business, right? So this is I think more than the tool. I think this is what we need to understand. More than the tool, what we want to understand is the thinking, right? Last time also we learned about COQ and Kano model, because we are adults, we are not just trying to pass the exam, right? We want to apply and get the benefits to the business and change our mindset, change our attitude, change our thinking pattern through the whatever the tools we are learning. Try to understand the concept, try to understand the approach, and see how it change your thinking pattern, how you can change others changing pattern on the business, right? So this is what I think most important thing. So when you understand this, I think probably you are in a better position to convince on investing on prevention costs rather than waiting something to happen and do the reactive actions, right? It will be costly one. Sometimes you will lose the customer, sometimes you will lose the business. So before that, you can use those analysis concepts to convince the leadership. With that, so this is the numbers what we went through previously. So obviously, not only the financial impact, it will impact on the productivity as well, right? As I said, morale, the efficiency reduction. Obviously, when the reworks are more, obviously there will be a WIP, right? When the WIP in the sense the work in progress. When there's a work in progress, obviously you will have a lot of related defects. In the sense, when you have more you find defects, because when there's the WIP, work in progress, by the time you find the defect at the end of the production, you will have a huge impact on your total production, right? This is something, the summary, we can explain how the cost of quality or a quality can impact on your profit. At the end of the day, we all are doing business to make money out of it, right? Just to one thing is the revenue piece. Profit in the sense, we know that, profit mean revenue minus overhead, right? When you say revenue, it depends on your sales and the raw material cost, right? Revenue and raw material cost. So then your sales will depend on number of units you produce. More you produce, you can get more sales. The number of units depend on your productivity. If your productivity is high, you can produce more units. When the quality failures are reduced, I will start from the bottom now. When the quality failures reduced through the TQM application and all the quality practices, if you can reduce your quality failures, maybe hidden failures or tangible failures, if you can reduce the failures, then your productivity you can support to improve your productivity. When the productivity improve, your number of units produced will go up. That will directly impact on your sales. When the sales goes up, your revenue go up and profit will go up. On the other side, even to reduce your RM material cost, raw material cost, you can apply the quality management system, right? On the other arm, like the overhead piece, to reduce the overhead, to reduce the manufacturing cost and the quality cost. The quality cost in the sense, it can be appraisal cost as well as prevention cost. You can reduce that. So you can see this connection between that for you to increase your profit. When you have your profits, you can increase your business growth. For you to have the business growth, you need to increase your profit. So this is the connection of, this is where the quality can impact in your business. This is the high level formula in summary. For you to do whatever the business you do, this is applicable. If you can focus on those particularly, so there can be an impact, significant impact, you can make it on your profit. Any clarification, further clarification needed on this slide, Tim? Any clearance, any disagreements or any further explanation needed? Are we clear on this? Yeah, I assume all understood on that piece. Then how TQM can support to this approach, to reduce the cost of poor quality particularly. First thing what we should do is, you need to start monitoring quality cost, right? In the sense, including hidden cost. In my experience, we try to capture the hidden cost, right? We wanted to monitor month by month on month hidden cost. We put a lot of effort, a lot of people to track that, but it was not easy. Then we realized, rather you put a lot of effort to capture hidden cost, best thing is go with the sample, go with the estimation, and make the decision based on those estimations. So that's what we did. So you will also can start, do the experiment, do the sample, understand your real situation, understand the relationship between your recorded one and unrecorded ones, hidden costs, then come up with a formula. With that, come up with a sheet, and using that you can estimate you can start monitoring the impact on quality, costs of quality. Particularly understand your hidden costs by sample testing is very important. Then address them using the new tool. Basically, you can address, we will learn a lot of tools in future also. We need to address those hidden costs particularly to reduce them. There's a saying, what we are believing is, if we start monitoring, basically you can improve 50%. You can improve just by monitoring, you can improve it by 50%. That's what we believe. So once you start monitoring it, you should see a drastic improvement on those pieces. Then you can show the results, maybe on one area, one product line, one product category, one section, you can start this. Once you can show the results, based on those results, particularly you need to invest on prevention part here, based on your finding. I'm sure you will find with a lot of failures, hidden costs. To address those, you have to focus on prevention investment. I will not say cost, it's an investment. You have to focus on investment. Based on that, you can justify the impact to the business, and you can apply across the rest of the value streams as well. So that you can sustain this new journey rather than you put a lot of effort. I know the pain. I think most of the participants are, with the quality background. I used to have gone through this. I have more than 15 years. I have worked with as a quality manager or division quality or in quality field. So I know the pain. Lot of effort. You are trying to protect your customer, but you are sandwiched in between your external customer and your internal supplier, right? They want to pass many things, to increase the productivity, but same time you want to protect the customer and you have to ensure customer will not get defect. So you are sandwiched in between and you will get a lot of pressure, but you have to keep on rely on quality control rather than investing on error-proof solutions, preventions, right? Let's focus on the prevention, and you will not get the enough support from the leadership also, because you can't justify the leadership on the impact on prevention, because it is very difficult to quantify because of these hidden costs. So this is the message. So basically, with regard to the cost of quality, today's subject, actually this is the last slide I want to explain, but we have enough time to discuss any question on this particular subject. Once we done that, I want to spend some time on COQ and Kano model, because the feedback I got from some of the students is still if you can spend some time today on Kano model and COQ is good. So that's why I keep some time for that. Let's discuss, because those are two very good tools for you to understand. So we want to spend some time on that, because maybe half of the people is still they are supposed to submit their assignment by next week. They will submit, but we want to go through that also. So before I move to that piece, is there any question we want to clarify on today's subject? So the message here is, as I said, not just tools. Don't think about the tools we learned today. There is no tool actually. What we want to understand the thinking. Thinking is that the recorded ones. The one message here, I think, the recorded ones versus the unrecorded ones. Remember the iceberg. The recorded quality cost is almost negligible compared to the hidden cost, right? That's the very difficult task for when it comes to quality to justify on investment. That's why you need to understand. You need to come up with some formula to understand what's the hidden cost and justify to convince your leadership to invest on the prevention cost, so that your life will be easy, right? Your customer is in safe hand, and with less effort, you can deliver the customer needs. Maybe you can delight the customer in a sustainable manner. So this is the message we want to get it today. Anything else you want to clarify on the subjects we discussed before I move to the COQ and the Kano model, to replace the knowledge we got last time? I think it's very important to replace that knowledge, because after today, we are not discussing those tools again. Any clarification, team? All good? With that, so I will move to the other subjects. Then basically, we covered the roof of the TQM house, right? Two subjects we covered: customer focus. Under customer focus, we covered how to identify customer needs through Kano model, voice of customer, CTQ, CTP, right? Then we learn about COQ, how to understand your internal customer supply as well. Then today we discuss about how the business growth, quality cost and quality can impact on your business and business growth, right? Next week we are moving to the base of the house. We will discuss about operation stability, supply relationships, expert decision making, integrated system. So those are the subjects we are going to discuss next week, Rohan and myself will take over next week's subjects. So with that, we will discuss about the COQ and Kano model. Before I move to the COQ, actually, since the assignments also given on the Kano model, I will complete the Kano related concerns first, right? Before I go to the example, anyone, any particular area you want to know about Kano model? I know that, many, I mean, more than half of people already submitted the assignments, and I'm really happy about the understanding and the level of explanation they have given. Very professional. All are good. I mean, all are acceptable. Whoever who has submitted assignments today, by today, even this week, that is not a problem. They have all got 10 marks. I have not say anything unacceptable. All are acceptable. We said that if it is acceptable within the timeline, so you will get the full marks. So everyone has submitted. Whoever has submitted already, so all the assignments are up to the acceptable level. So that's a good news and very impressive. So the rest of the team, I mean, any clarification on that? One of the confusion, I think, based on the feedback I got, is this. So let me share one of the example. Yasir, this is the Yasir's assignments. So through this, I will explain the model, how the model works, right? Yasir, I think you need to explain the background. You need to support me on this, since this
Yeah,
is your project.
surely. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Surely.
I'm happy about the topic because this is an internal customer. You want to satisfy your internal customer, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Yasir, why don't you explain the background of the problem and what do you want to do and what is this all about?
So basically, when I go through that Kano model, I choose this one as because I'm currently leading the planning department. So the major challenge and the major service I am providing to my internal customer is my monthly freeze plan. So which they have to execute in the sewing and the packing production. So regarding that, I choose that topic so that I can really implement my learning on my actual where I'm working. So that's why I've selected this one.
Super. So basically, you have selected so that your report based on your production report. Basically, you want to check 8 features of that report. Yeah. So you want to check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So regarding this, if I go through that, the feature selection is also not like I selected them the features. So I make a list of the features, and then I like give the printouts to my production team members from, you can say, from the unit head level to a module level. You can say a supervisor. So I request them to what features they mostly required in my monthly freeze plan. So the rating which I give, the top features which get the most rating, so I selected those features, and then I started working on.
Features also selected based on the customer feedback, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then you develop the questions. So this is also, I think, interesting one. We have each feature we have to develop 2 questions, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So one, like as you taught us, like one is if you have that feature and if you don't have that feature. So we have to get the feedback on the both things.
Yeah. So each feature we have to ask, how do you feel? How do you feel if that feature is there? Other one you have to ask, how do you feel if you don't have that feature? So likewise, you have to ask the same question in different way. So each time, this is a good summary. Each time you will get 5 answers. I mean 5 different categories to customer to select. So customer has to pick only one answer each time, right? So these are the 5 categories. I'm just explaining this to the rest of the team who has not submitted yet. for better clarity. So they have to pick one of them because when we distribute this sheet, they have to pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yes.
you have selected, say, 15 customers, if you have 15, 1, 5, you have to print 15 sheets of this, and you have to distribute to 15 people and get the feedback. Correct?
Yeah, agreed. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So after that, basically, let me go through this one again. Right. Right. Okay. I think some people confuse about this one, this sheet. This is the kind of the metrics. This is not something I have developed. This is something Dr. Kano has developed, right? So we should not, argue on that whether it's right or wrong. So the thinking here is, once you get the feedback, right? Assuming for the first pager, somebody say, one customer say, assuming I like it, right? Remember the answer, like it, right? When you ask whether the feature is there, he said like it. Then the second question asks, how do you feel if that feature is not there? He said, I'm neutral, right? Remember the two answers. First time he said like it. Second question he gave neutral. So when you know the answer, go to the table. Functional, it says like it. If it's like it, go on this row. This row. Go on this row, right? The second answer was neutral. This is why it's crossing, right? Second answer was neutral. First answer was like it and neutral. This is why it interchange. That means it's D. D mean delight. Kosala?
Yeah.
Kosala, are you clear?
Yes.
Are you clear on this? As example I'm giving, if the answer, we know that one customer has given answer, first time like it, second answer neutral. If it's like it and neutral, first you have to go in this line, the functional level. If the answer is like, then go to the dysfunctional answer, neutral, then it is delight, right? Clear, no? Yeah.
Sure.
Once you find that,
now clear.
then you have to mark it here. Clear, no? Then you have to mark it here. When you mark it, okay, one customer for the first feature, they are saying delight. Maybe the second customer, they are saying different answer, and maybe it fall into different categories, right? Any explanation need, how to use this table is all clear, 100% clear. Any question? I don't mind to take another 5-10 minutes to explain this.
So I have a different question on this table. Can you go for a previous slide, sir?
This one?
Okay. Yes. Now, in some instances, I have seen some answers comes in a functional feature. Let's say now it's a dislike it, and the dysfunctional feature comes as a dislike it the both ends. So the cross will be questionable.
Yes.
So in that case, how do I go for the next step?
Excellent question. I like the question. You don't want to worry about that. Disregard that feedback because you can't make any decision. No.
Understood.
That's that. Yeah. Because if it is in dislike, basically what he's saying is dislike in the sense somewhere here. This is what we are saying, no?
Yes, sir. Questionable.
So questionable means you don't want to worry. You don't want to take any action. So it's basically a waste of time because that feedback you can't take because it says it can't be in theory, it can't be a good feedback, no? So maybe customers confused or something like that.
Yeah, in that case, sir, now in the next table, you told us that the row, sum of the row has to be equal to the number of samples. But when it comes to the table, so I don't have any place to mark it here.
Right. Now I got it. So if that's the case, you are right. If that's the case, you don't want to tally the number. I think so. It's a good call out. Is Damit?
No, Tilina.
Tilna. I think good call out. Thanks for highlighting that. If this is the case, you can't tally it. You are right. If you find cues, you can't tally it. Without cues, you have to tally. Assuming you got 1 cue, that means out of 10, 1 cue, so the row has to be 9.
Yes, sir. But what did I do is I just change it to my preference and make it equal to the sum.
Not necessary. You don't want to do that. So yeah, I think so. Thanks for raising that. You don't want to do that. Don't do that. If that's the case, I will accept that. Right?
Okay, sir.
I will accept that. Don't want to tally that. Noel, if in your case also that's what happened, or is something else? I don't think so.
Little same like that.
Same?
Little, not 100%, little same like that. One row is I'm wrong, other one is same like that.
Okay. If that's the case, so no problem. You can.
Okay, sir.
Go with that. You don't want to change that. If that's the case, we'll accept that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. But those are good examples. So okay. So other one is okay, when you get this kind of feedback, what to focus. Is there any concern on this piece? Like mixed feedback, like some saying is must have equal numbers. I think this question was there. My advice on this piece, right? My advice on this piece, assuming but here this example we can't explain that. Assuming you get this, I'm just writing for the example, right? You got 4 here, 4 here. Here you got 5. Here 4, right? Then you got 2 here, right? Then if you have to pick one, how do you pick one? So you can say here 2, here 11, no? 4, 4, 2, sorry, 10. Here, sorry, no. Here 1, right? Which one to choose?
In this case, I will choose number 5.
You will. So why you number 5?
Because indifferent means for the one customer, it is saying that it's not like nothing. It's not like impacting them. But for the number 5, all 10 are saying it means on the positive side, must have performance and the delighters.
Excellent answer. I like the answer. So you have to understand this table. This side, if you get the sum of this, doesn't matter. No, if it's must have, you have to give the first priority, right? Second one is the more you increase, more you get, and this is delighting. So when you're prioritizing, I think this is your answer is perfect. This is good, but this is only 9 people. I said no to pick one. How we are going to pick one? Here only 9, but here you can say 10. 10 people are 10 in positive side. Here only 9, right? So that's why I said, okay, you can pick it. There is no hard and fast rule. What I'm saying is, you understand is very good. So likewise, anything on this side, take it as positive. Here, neutral. you don't want to do anything. Here, negative, right? Don't focus on this. This one also, you don't want to invest, right? So this is the most important understanding. Okay, I think so hope you all are, everyone is now we are in a better understanding on this piece, Kano model. How about the COQ? Last time, one of the feedback we got was whether we can do some examples on COQ. Anything you want to ask about the COQ? Any clarification? Any how to convert VOC, voice of customer, to CTQs? How to convert CTQ into CTPs? Any explanation you need? Because some feedback I got, COQ was not. I mean, you need further explanation, examples. Any call outs?
Not regarding COQ. I have one question regarding the Kano model. Can you go back to the same slide which we were discussing?
This one? This one?
Where the tallies were there?
This one?
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
So now on the basis of the customer feedback, we have selected 5. We will go for the features. But when we go for its cost, we came to know that the number 6 is very lesser in a cost than the number 5. Number 5 has a very high cost. So then what would be our strategy, or what would be our decision?
Yeah, so that was again another good question, because these are almost similar numbers, right? These two are almost similar, but for you to improve, maybe this feature number 6, lot of investment, right? Sorry, this one, lot of investment, you said. That's what you are saying, no?
Yeah.
Investment.
Number 5 has a lot of investment.
Lot of investment. This is compared to less investment. So then you pick this one, right?
Yeah, okay.
So there is no, as I said, there is no hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
Once you get the feedback, is again leadership team to get together and discuss and okay, only this feature and that feature, only marginal difference. This is more feasible to do that. Let's go ahead there. So likewise, we can make all decision, but this is kind of you can use this as a guideline. Nobody will see this, even your customer, they don't see the summary, only you for internal purpose. So you can make the decision. So those questions are very interesting ones and practical ones. This understanding is very good. So thanks for asking those questions. So very interesting one. Right. With regard to COQ, any questions? Or today's session, because we have basically 10 minutes to wrap up. So balance 10 minutes we can use for those two. Actually, I kept purposely 10-15 minutes for COQ and Kano model. I thought of, I spent some time on these two because, last time we had to rush because of very tight schedule. Today's subject, we managed to find some time for these two subjects. And these two subjects are very interesting ones. With the learning purpose, since you don't have any question regard to the COQ, anyone else, with regard to Kano models, give some examples, I can share some of the example. I'm impressed about this one's water supply is, I can't remember who has submit that. Hold on. Your one was a very interesting one, very unique one. Is there any way you can explain high level, what you did, then, what was the outcome, any new things you find through the Kano model? What are the learnings? Can you just share?
It was done for the learning purpose.
Yeah.
I have selected that the filter used for the water cleaning process. Then figured some features which have to improve, and I say through the Google form I shared the that features to 10 customers and get back the feedback for and it set up for the Kano table, the metrics you shared in that note. Then based on that, I have rated those and identified what are the performance-based features and what are the must required and performance-based features.
Yeah, very interesting one. Yeah, actually. So I like the one, and also there was a swimwear that was uploaded by Erandi, I guess. Yes, Erandi. You are also very interesting, Erandi. So, Erandi, are you there? Erandi is not there today. She's there, no? Okay, fine. If you don't have any questions, so basically we can wrap up. We don't want to waste time. So any concerns, questions with regard to Kano model, with regard to COQ, with regard to the cost of quality? We can basically discuss. We have 5-10 minutes maximum. Otherwise, we can wrap up the meeting session. Okay, it's the feedback time. So how is the feedback? Are you okay with this topic? What do you learn?
So yeah, I just want to give you positive feedback on especially the Kano model, because it's a very interesting fact that understanding the voice of customer and the critical features. So it's really important to us to any kind of business or any kind of process or any kind of service. So it's a good tool, and thank you for teaching us on that.
Thanks, Till. And also someone, I think Helita's one is very interesting one. Helita, you are there?
Yes, Vimal, I'm here. Yes.
Yeah, Helita's one is very interesting. Why don't you share what you did actually? Very interesting one.
Actually, what I did was I am living in a hostel with another 3 members, and I'm leading a department, and I have like 5 subordinates in my department as well. So actually, we want to buy a new Bluetooth speaker. So mainly for the enjoyment, and mainly in for the to use it in the hostel, and sometimes it can be used in the plant. Some functions in there in the plant as well. So I identified what are the factors and what are the things that before buying it, what are things that I need to factor, and I put a survey with my subordinates and my hostel mates. So based on that, I identified one product, and based on this product, actually I did the Kana model. So I actually decided to buy this model.
So basically, you made the right decision based on the customer, because otherwise you would have buy something else.
Yes.
I think this experience matters, because sometimes organizations, maybe you are giving a New Year gift, right? You are spending a lot of money, and how do you decide do your gift? Maybe a management team get together and they decided what to give, right? Management teams understanding and their voice of customer versus because we are giving for the team member level, operator level, their needs and the management needs are different. But who are the people who decide on what the customer want? It may be the management team, on in a boardroom, you will discuss, okay, this year we will give this as a gift. So at the end of the day, your customer will say, this is not what we want, even though you have invested a lot of money on that, your customer will not happy. Or sometimes, they will disappoint. Okay, we are expecting something else, but they gave this. So likewise,
Yes,
different scenarios you can use this, and I think is not only the external customer, even your internal customer also. I like the Yasir's one also, because that's how a lot of applications are there. So please start using that. Okay, any other feedback? CK, you have picked something, or you need some time to manage?
No, I'm fine. I'll be sending it hopefully by tomorrow.
Okay, I think better, learning purpose also fine. I think not only I'm CK, I'm everyone, learning purpose also fine, but even beyond that, real application piece also, if you can use this as a both angle, I mean, application piece also better. Excellent. So thank you, team.
Sorry. I just have one request.
Please.
So last time you said that there will be 4 assignments which will be included in the total numbers.
Yes.
But I was just thinking, why not we have assignment for each module? Some you can say are mandatory and some you can say are not mandatory. Because by doing its practical application, we can learn more. So you give us a model.
Yeah, we love
assignment.
to hear that. Darshan, are you there?
Yeah, I am there. I'm listening. Yes, yes.
Love to hear that, but because actually we purposely we had previously 6-1, we reduced to 4 because we want to reduce the because sometimes people doesn't want to do the application piece, but you are 100% correct, Yasir. When you apply, then only you learn something out of it, and it will remember, right? You will remember. So that's the way we should understand it. As we said, we are not just learning, not just pass the exam, not to get only the certificate. We are professionals. Everyone is professional. We want to, apply, and we have to, elevate our thinking process. We have to elevate the game. Basically, for us to elevate the game, absolutely, application piece is very, very important. So I 100% agree with you, Yasir. But it depends on the participants' feedback. If all are in agreement, we can think of at least not for each and every subject, but at least to selected ones. We can.
I'm just saying that you can keep 4 as a mandatory, which you have already decided. For other, if anybody has a time and if you want to do, then he can do it.
Optional ones. These are
optional
mandatory for, rest optional. That's what we are saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There is no pressure on the rest of the team. So there is no impact. There is no impact, positive or negative, no impact. Just whoever who like to do that, we can do that. So that's what we do is we will have internal discussions. We will consider your feedback as it. We will consider your feedback.
So I think we can use the Kano model for this.
Yeah, we'll get the Kano model practically also. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other feedback? All done? All good? Thank you, team.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Mal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Thank
Good night.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.